Have you ever had a near-death experience? Or perhaps someone you know may have had a near-death experience? Well, if so, we would love to hear your story and have you as a guest on our podcast. For more information, visit NDE.world. Again, that's NDE.world. We would love to hear your story.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical, and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
Welcome back to the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, and my lovely person I picked up hitchhiking on the way to work this morning, Miss Daphne Lynn. Good morning, Daphne.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, baby. How are you today?
I'm absolutely wonderful. It's beautiful outside. Looks like it's going to be a nice, crisp day out there.
Absolutely.
Cool,
Every
but
day
nice.
is beautiful regardless of the weather. Okay, there's your nug.
Exactly.
Every day is beautiful regardless of the weather. So many people look at the weather and like, oh, man, it's too cold. Oh, it's too hot. It's too wet. It's too,
Uh-huh.
Every day is beautiful regardless of the weather. Okay, because
Very
it's
true.
another day to learn and another day to love and another day to grow.
Exactly. Experience and live and love and share that
And
experience
do for
with others.
That's right. That's right. Well, you guys are listening to the NDE World Podcast. Our website is nde.world. Feel free to go to the website to get more information on what we do. We cover a lot of different areas. We kind of more or less specialize in mostly, definitely all the spiritual things, if it's spiritually related and this world and the afterlife and things like that. So we do a lot of the NDE, the near-death experience things here on this episode as well. So today we're going to go ahead and just do like a super quick run through, and then we're going to kind of maybe zoom in on some of those specific elements of the actual experience. And so the near-death experience, when you're looking at them, they're all comprised of certain elements, okay? However, these elements are represented different, okay, to each person, and it's typically culturally influenced, the way they grew up and the way they, their world that they experienced. And it could be religiously influenced.
That's what I was going to say, was religiously influenced. And even atheists that, don't have a religious background.
Or having these experiences and coming back. And
It's every human that, well, I say every human that comes back from death, but that's not true, because not everybody has an NDE
Correct.
when they have faced
near-death.
a near-death experience. Some people just don't remember anything, but some come back with these beautiful memories. Some come back with a little distressing memories.
Distressing, even scarier or even hellish, or what we would
Yeah,
consider
there's
as
both
hellfire.
sides of it. Yeah. But the beauty in it is the lessons, and you hear it from so many of the NDEers, that there was something in that they could grow from, they could learn from. So that's the beauty in it for me.
I believe that is one of the key elements in it that you mentioned, that Daphne, is the actual lesson for that individual. Because you're right, most of when they come out on the other side with these stories, there was some kind of a spiritual message, that they were really trying to give to them, to have to come over here and really fix things on this side, while they still have the time to do so.
Exactly, yeah, and that's loving on Source, Creator, God, whatever you want to call that entity on the other side.
Right.
It's loving of them to allow that kind of experience to transform our lives.
Absolutely. So you do see that a lot, them coming on back from the actual experience with a lesson to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And a lot of times it eliminates fear of death completely.
it does.
And they want to stay on that side.
It does. It absolutely does. Well, let's take a look at the actual basic elements that makes up the NDE, the near-death experience.
Brief
Now,
rundown.
the NDE, the near-death experience, is the overall experience. Okay, this includes you, the accident you were in, or whether it was an accident or not, or whatever that happened that that you had was either hospitalized or either on the side of the road or wherever you were at, in the water, underwater, or wherever you had your experience.
Yeah.
And then going into what's called the out-of-body experience. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. But the near-death experience is not so much everything that happens on the other side, but it's the overall experience, if that makes any sense. So the near-death, it means you nearly died. Okay, so the near-death experience is not so much the things that happens on the other side, but it is the umbrella of all these other things. Now, the thing that happens next typically would be the out-of-body experience. So that would be the OBE. And typically this is where the person separates from the body, the spirit from the body, or the consciousness from the body, and they start to see things from a different perspective.
Yeah, a lot of times they say that they popped out or sprang out or came out through the top of their head or their back. A lot of them out through their back and were
chest, different parts
just
of the body.
Separation from the body.
From the body, yeah. And so they start to see things from a different perspective. Now, this is where it gets good, because the out-of-body experience is that gateway that takes you over into that spiritual realm, okay? Keep that in mind. You have to go through the OBE, and people can do that manually. There are people today that actually can bring on out-of-body experiences on their own. And there are also those who experience out-of-body experiences just for no reason. I mean, they happen everywhere, every day. So they don't have to necessarily, be part of an NDE. However, they are the basic element that really links this world to the other world. So once they go through the OBE, or they're separated from the body, in the spiritual realm, they actually can look down on their bodies, or see things in the room, or see things that, so if they're not limited to the body, that means they can go anywhere they want. Okay.
Right. And, if those out there listening are interested in the out-of-body experience that is not associated with NDE, Darius J. Wright, he's all over YouTube. He's seen all kinds of stuff. He's been doing this since he was in his teens. Yeah. So he's been doing this for a few years.
Yes. We'll put a plug in for Darius. Darius, the letter J, and the last name is Wright. It's with a W. Wright. Darius J. Wright. He's
really just made me go, oh, wow, a lot of times listening to his interviews with other people.
Yes, and this guy, the reason why she had mentioned him, he's a guy that actually purposely goes into these altered states of out-of-body experiences and all. He makes himself, and he's been doing that for a long time. So the point is, it doesn't have to be an NDE. But
exactly.
Back to the subject at hand. So a lot of times there's a darkness, okay? There's a tunnel. There's a bright light. And that bright light is a lot of times associated with certain beings. A lot of times you'll see spiritual teachers or prophets or something like, either Jesus or Muhammad or Vishnu or
just
Buddha,
spirit guides.
Your family. You'll see family members, pets, animals and things like that. Life. You can see the energy of everything, even like the trees, and everything puts out an energy, but you can see all of these things, from that spiritual perspective.
The oneness, the collective of everything over there.
The oneness of everything, that would be a good one if you want to. We'll touch base on that a little bit more in a second. Meeting deceased loved ones, okay, and what about the feeling of love? The overwhelming, unconditional feeling of love.
Right, yeah, that is one of the most common sensations on that side of consciousness.
It is. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go a little bit deeper into that, and we'll dwell more on that. But let me touch base on a couple more of these here real quick, just to kind of get an overview. There is what's called the life review. Now, the life review is one of the things I'm fascinated with, because it, to me, gives me a whole different perspective on my Christian upbringing, and like a lot of the religions teach, especially the Christian religion, on heaven and hell. These experiencers from the near-death experience, some have distressing NDEs, but they go straight from that back to a loving, peaceful one. So what we're understanding is there is no religion on the other side. There is no judgment on the other side.
No, you judge yourself. From so many of these experiencers come back saying that they weren't judged, that the beings or entities or whoever was with them at that life review were not judging them. They were indifferent to it, that they judged themselves.
That's right. And it is the ultimate beautiful balance in things when you get to experience the love that you give to others. You get that back, but you also get to experience the pain, the hurt. And you've hurt others, because we get these stories on the life reviews that you are connected. You're connected to yourself. You're connected to the other person that you were in that experience with. You feel their feelings, and you also, in a lot of cases, feel the actual feelings of the divine itself.
Yes.
So you got that pure linked in love, and you feel everything. In fact, we were watching a YouTube video last night of a near-death experience, and the guy said that in his life review, he was taken back to, they usually take him back to when they were a child, and then, it progresses through your life. But he said he was maybe 4. I think he said 4 or 5 years old, something like that. Him and his little buddy was playing, and he said that he had gotten a stick, and he hid behind the tree or hid behind the wall or something like that, and him and his little buddy was playing, and I'm kind of paraphrasing it. And he said he had a stick about 2 foot long and about the size of your thumb, big around. It was the way he described it. But he said the little kid came around the corner, and he just whopped him on the head so hard. And the little kid just freaked out crying, and he just took off running. But the guy said in this experience, he felt the little kid's excitement, ready to come around and go play with his friend. He felt, himself actually hitting the little guy, but he
the pain
also
of the little,
felt
the boy.
The little guy himself. He felt his pain. He felt getting hit in the head and feeling that child's pain. And then his thoughts. Him running off crying. He felt his hurt and his pain. And, so the nugget that we're getting from this is that everything you do affects everyone and everything else around. And you have to understand that we are all connected. That's that collective that we are all is on the other side. Yeah. Everything you do harms another. So your words, dear goodness, our words, you have to really mind your speech, your words that you use, because they can create life, they can destroy life. Yeah. Build others up. We break ourselves down enough as it is, and others break us down as well if you allow it. So definitely be very mindful of your speech. Yeah. Yeah. They are alive. Words have energy. Exactly. Constructive and destructive. Exactly. Okay, now, a lot of these near-death experiences, with all these feelings of love and bliss and all, but the life review, the reason why I like it, I guess I said, because to me, it is in more harmony with a God of love, that, you're not being tortured and tormented for an eternity. That just doesn't resonate. And when you look into the history of all that, you understand, wow, that was used for mind control and controlling the public, But the near-death experiences give us a really truer understanding of what we call God, or the source, or the life, or the energy, or that's in all things, in all of us. And that's what I love about that. Mm-hmm. And he's never judgmental. It's always loving, Right. And like you said earlier, you pretty much judge yourself, and it's the ultimate way to balance things out, like we had mentioned earlier, is for you to feel what you've done, the cause and effect of what you did to others, good or bad, mm-hmm. and others as well. It goes for all of us. So, and then once you do that, you're purified, you're golden, you're good to go, and you, depending on if you've got stuff that needs to be finished here on earth, you have the option. They'll give you a way to break away. To either you have the option to come back home, or not come home. That's actually considered home. Always remember that on the other side. That's considered home. Yeah, so many say that it is home on that side. They remember having been there before, and there's beauty in that, for me. And I know I say that all the time, but there's such beauty in this that, we belong over there. This is just temporary here, but we get so caught up in the here, the now, this physical body.
But we're so much more than it.
That's right.
We are that spiritual that returns home.
It's just the vessel. The body's just the vessel for that spirit. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the NDEs, and that's why I really appreciate the life review part of it. It balances it out. But anyway, you get to a point where you have the option to either go or, stay, or sometimes you don't have the option. They say, well, look, I'm glad you like it here, but you got to go back. And I think every story I've ever heard, that is not a good feeling that these people experience after being there around what we call God, or this
bliss.
Love and this bliss and this peace. And and now you got to go back. And sometimes going back into a body that's been pretty banged
battered.
up. So it's tough for people, but they said that's usually the hardest thing about all of us, having to go back, and they'll fight it too, a lot of them.
Yeah, and one thing I've been hearing a lot lately, for some reason it's sticking out of my mind, when they are given that option to stay or go, when they decide to go back, it's almost instantaneous every time.
It's
just the
almost like
thought, okay, I'm back, boom, and you're back.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
That it's instant.
And to go with that thought, okay, on the subject of thought, everything is communicated telepathically. Okay, there are no mouths like we use over here in the physical world to say what we need to say and everything. Everything is a thought connection. Everything is, you think it happens. Yeah. And it's instant too. It doesn't take time. Like over here, if you think something, if you want to build something, make something, whatever, it's going to take a while to get it. But from what I understand, the stories we get, it's instant.
Yeah, the download, a lot of them call it the download, the all-knowing, the reconnecting with that source. The telepathic communication is a collective as well, that everybody knows, or every entity's or being's thoughts while you're there, but can single out
at the same time.
At the same time. So that's pretty wild to me.
Yeah, and here's something I didn't think about, but I heard a person talking about it. We have brains, most of us. I'm saying
we claim we do, but what about those that say, "Oh, I don't believe in something unless I can see it"?
Well, if you're one of those out there that don't believe it unless you could see it, I would ask you, do you have a brain? And if you say, yeah, I'm saying, how do you know? Can you see it? If you can't see it, then, that reasoning is just, you might as well throw that in a bucket and go dump it somewhere else. We can make all kind of reasoning and rationalizations and excuses and all, so, but no, the point is, in this world, we have the physical body, the physical organs, like the brain. Now, but on the other side,
there's none of that.
You don't have a brain. There's not a brain there to process. Sometimes we get, stories that you're light. They see all of your light body. And some of them, we do get, many of them actually more than others. You do have a form. You have a form like you have here. You have an arm, legs. You have the actual form. And however, it runs off of electricity. It doesn't run off of flesh and blood. And bones, it's an energy machine. So, but you do have that. It's a physical at a different density or at a different realm, if you want to call it that. But it's not really physical. It's more of a spiritual, but it is a body. It's what Jesus in the Bible called the glorified body.
I would think so, yeah. Most definitely.
And one more, well, actually, there's a couple more things to keep in mind. One is how indescribable the other side is. That people a lot of times come back and they can't even put it into words. The experience. They said there are no human words to describe that experience.
And the colors and beauty of everything on that side is
the intensity and
is very almost overwhelming. And they say it's hard to put into words that you can understand.
The sights, the sounds, the smells.
Yeah.
You're getting things that we experience here in the physical.
But it's through the conscious.
It's a spiritual.
The spiritual, yeah.
Correct. You're over there. You do see. You do hear. It's telepathically. I don't know if ears like we use them here, but you're hearing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if hearing is even the term to use for telepathy.
For that side, right?
Yeah. So, but the point is, communication is being made. So
right, and the oneness that's on that side, the whole of everything together, Even back here on this side of the veil, they're saying that we are connected. There's so many NDEers come back and say everything is connected, from us to earth to, trees, plants, animals, clouds, sun, moon, planets, everything in this universe is connected.
Absolutely. That's what I believe and I understand as well. In fact, I've even heard of NDEers actually seeing that spiritual energy cord that connects every human to every animal to every tree. I mean, that cord is connecting everything. They've seen an actual cord that connects all of us. So it's amazing how spirit or source, what we call God, will present himself, itself, herself, however you want to look at it, present itself to you. And
exactly.
And it's going to be in a way that you can understand. Someone that you understand. Okay, you're going to have a figure in your life that you look at as an example of a role model. It can be your spiritual role model. A lot of people would say Jesus, for example. Now, he could be your spiritual role model, right? Well, if Jesus is your role model, 9 times out of 10, there's a good possibility that if you have an encounter, and if you do have this, NDE and out-of-body experience, if you have an encounter with a spiritual being, more than likely that spiritual being is going to be Jesus. It's going to be the source appearing as Jesus, or to you as Jesus, in other words. However, I have heard of people who had, other beliefs, or maybe even atheists, or, didn't really have much of a belief, go through these experiences and come back in believing in that all, or that source, or that love,
Right, that's what I was going to say with you saying all that is, the atheists, the ones that have no belief in, a God, but they experience the love and that being, that source, the energy that they know is all love and unconditional, and they come back believing in a higher power, whereas before they had no belief in that. So it's to help the people change and believe what they need to believe to make themselves better and better to others.
Absolutely. Well said. And it's going to be pretty much targeted to each individual. And I'm going to tell you right now, just because a person is an atheist, that doesn't mean they're a bad person.
Exactly.
They're some of the most beautiful people. I don't want to say some. They're all beautiful people. We all are. You're just dealing with a belief system because the Creator loves them just as much as he loves you, just as much as he loves us. So just because a person has a different belief system doesn't make them a bad person, okay? A person can be an atheist and still be a loving husband, a loving father, and have a very responsible role in the community. So that you can't look at a person just because they have a different belief system, but at the same time, even from another perspective, you shouldn't be dogging out other people if you're on the other side because they believe in a higher being, wherever that being may be, or whoever that being may be, or if it's a god or whatever that So it's a word war, and people are throwing these mud pies back at each other because of their belief systems.
Don't push your beliefs on someone else, and we won't push ours on you. That's the way it should be. We shouldn't say hate somebody or condemn somebody because they believe differently.
It's a belief system, baby. All of us are so much more than our beliefs. It's all BS. It's all BS. It's belief systems, and belief systems is what destroys the world. Belief systems belong to the ego. Belief systems are what going to separate and keep everybody into that dualistic society.
Right. Now, I have a question for you. With all that we've learned, and as long as we've been studying this, how has your life changed since learning about NDEs?
My life, or my understanding of the afterlife, has increased 1,000-fold. I was raised in the the Christian background, Christian faith. Started out in the Baptist for so many years, and then went to this religion and that religion, and I did it, and I was into it. I really was. I loved it. I still love the Bible. It does have the thread of divine. I do believe that the Bible has been tampered with in a lot of it, but when you're on the proper spiritual vibration and you're in the right spiritual mindset, you can read the Bible and get what you need to spiritually out of that Bible without being influenced from those who had a negative intention, who actually created the Bible. And we're not going to get into that today. But growing up in especially more or less a Christian background, and you're raised that good people go to heaven, bad people are going to burn in hell, and they're going to be tortured for the bad that they've done. When you start to get into these near-death experiences and you see the love that is on the other side and the love that the Creator has for every single human being, regardless of what they've done, regardless of where they're from, regardless of, nationality, color, creed, background, it doesn't matter. We are all part of that source. That source is us. And we need to understand that, when I was in the religion, I had a certain belief system, okay, but I also felt separated from other people that didn't accept those belief systems that I had. And I know that a lot of religions do that. Many, many do that.
So,
in fact, that's religion is a big major issue with a lot of problems on earth today.
right. So would you say while you was in that religion that you were judgmental of others?
Absolutely, and I still am at times. I'm working on that. I am a work in progress.
Yeah, we all
the
are.
day anybody says they're perfect or they've got it made, then that's it. No, I'm human. I make mistakes. I have thoughts. I'm not perfect. But I am a spiritual being. I acknowledge that. I do the best that I can do. I treat others the best that I can treat. I have my relationship with the all. I do have a deep connection with spirituality and understanding and things like that. Yeah. So, but at the same time, I am a human. Okay. So I do have my human traits that I have to deal with here, until I get a hold of those. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was very judgmental, and 99.99% of people in religion, more specifically
Really
Christianity,
are.
judgmental.
So, not having a religion now, how would you term yourself in your faith?
I don't have faith. It's not a faith thing anymore. It's knowing.
Exactly.
Well
said.
You got to have faith when it's something that you want to believe in, but you don't know what it is. You don't have no clue of what it is. So you're going to have to put faith into it and believe it and just go on somebody's word, or you just got to go with that. No, I don't have to have faith. Faith is, and belief are both the same words. They're from the Greek word pistos. Pistuo and pistos. One is an adjective and one's a verb. One's a noun and one's a verb. But belief and faith are the same word in Greek. So I don't have to believe in something else because I'm at the point in my life now, I know.
Right.
I don't question it. I know there's so much more out there. I know there's life goes on. I know there's so many different dimensions. I know there's a creator out there. I know these things. I know that I'm a part of it now.
Right. Now, with you saying that, it really makes me think about things resonating with you or not resonating with you. And that's how you really get this sense of knowing. When it resonates to your core.
You just know it.
You know that you know.
Right.
And that's
how the Spirit works.
Exactly. And that's beautiful because you can go through life really listening to your instinct, listening to your gut, what resonates with you, and shun this other stuff that you don't believe in. If it doesn't resonate with you, let it go, but let it go without judgment.
Right.
And you can walk through life sharing love and beauty with others in a way that in religion you really can't do.
No. And once you're free from religion, and religion is every religion, okay? When you're free from all that, you got to understand religion was not here in the beginning, guys.
We were born with everything we need.
There was no such thing as religion. We were all here. And,
yeah.
We have everything in us that we need to function on this earth. Mother feeds us. Mother Earth has everything that we need if we feed from her breast. If you eat the food that Mother Earth produces, you're golden. You're good to go. That's going to keep you in line for your spiritual side. If you can get your
Vibrating
relationship,
at a higher vibration.
That's right. When you eat from Mother Earth, you're eating live food, okay? If you don't eat from Mother Earth, you eat from the grocery stores, regardless of what that is, 99.99999% of the time it's dead. Okay, it's already been cooked, it's already been processed, it's already been bleached, it's already been whatever. There's nothing in it.
Chemicals put on the fruits and vegetables you
Chemicals,
eat.
colorings,
Yeah.
dyes, insecticides, pesticides, all the garbage. So you have to be careful with everything you get in the store, okay? Now, there are the vegetable sections. Just make sure you clean your vegetables really good, your fruits. Fruits are going to be the best thing for you.
You know, I can remember growing up, we always had a garden all the time. And it seems like we were healthier back then and more vibrant. I mean, our thinking was clearer and everything too. And I really think it has to do with those chemicals and stuff that they're putting on everything.
Right. You're not getting the proper nutrition these days.
If we could all get back into gardening ourselves,
Correct.
growing our own food, it would be so much healthier for our bodies.
It would. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
It really is. It
Yeah.
is. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, now here's something to think about. And we're going to probably go ahead and wrap up because I'm looking at the clock there. It's about time to go ahead and wrap things up here. Always remember this, guys, that you cannot live by eating dead food. And that's why you want to even consider eating animals. Dead flesh has nothing for you or for your body or for your spirit. However, if you eat from Mother Earth, more specifically fruits. Fruits are very, very good for the human body. They process really quick. If you can get into eating a lot of that and take the dead stuff out of the body, always remember this. If you eat live food, you put life into your body, you will live. And if you put dead stuff in your body, you're just killing yourself.
You're bogging it down.
Yeah. And then you have to be dealing with all kind of diseases and cancers and all kind of garbage that goes with it. So it's something to really consider.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just really taking care of yourself and things like that when it comes to your spirituality and your health and your mindset and all that kind of stuff.
More the health of the body, yeah.
Yeah.
Because our spirit goes on. We are more than just this physical.
Absolutely. And to finish up, just keep in mind that you can feed that spirit. You can grow spiritually in this realm. You have to.
Oh, most definitely.
You have to. That's pretty much why you're here. It's to learn.
Grow,
to
learn, experience, yeah. Whether it be good or bad, just take it as you are blessed to have life at this point.
Yeah.
That you're aware of. That is such a blessing to experience what we experience.
So do you have life or are you life?
You are life.
Get you thinking.
Most definitely.
Yes. On that note, guys, we love you all so much and may peace be with you. And until next time.
As always, y'all let your light shine just as bright as you can.
For more information about the NDE World Podcast, visit NDE.world. That's NDE.world.